Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 14th Annual Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame Induction Banquet. We are so very pleased to have such a good crowd here tonight, and we thank you, as always, for your continuing support of the Hall of Fame. We have an outstanding evening planned for your enjoyment as we honor the class of 2009. However, at this time, I would ask that you please rise for the posting of the colors by the Ranger Training Brigade from Fort Benning, the playing of our national anthem by the Columbus State University Pep Band, and please remain standing for the retiring of the colors. Thank you. Please be seated. It's a great pleasure to introduce to you the class of 2009. Each inductee will be escorted by cheerleaders from Columbus State University. We're pleased to introduce from the University of Georgia and Hardaway High School, class of 2009 inductee, Larry Gaither. From Columbus High School and Ole Miss, class of 2009 inductee, Bill Jordan. From Central High School, class of 2009 inductee, Leroy Propst. Accepting in place of class of 2009 inductee Mack Strong of Brookstone, the University of Georgia, and the Seattle Seahawks is Brookstone coach Chico Lynch. If you will kindly refer to the programs on the table before you, you will obviously see that we're about to begin the program for the evening. We will begin very shortly with an invocation, followed by dinner. Then we will recognize notables in the audience, as well as past year inductees, and of course then the highlight of the evening, the induction of the class of 2009. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the pastor of First Baptist Church Columbus, Dr. Jimmy Elder, for our invocation. Join me in giving him a warm welcome.
I still had no cheerleader to bring me up here. Will you bow with me as we pray together? Lord, you taught us in your word the value of well done, my good and faithful servant. You affirm us that way when we live in our lives in ways that please you, that use to the best of our ability the things that you've given to us, where we're faithful in our stewardship and strong in our character. Thank you for that affirming word to us. So tonight we echo those words for those who are honored here, those who have taught us lessons of character, lessons of ability, lessons of time well used. And as we hear from them, as we honor them, may they hear the wonderful acclamation, well done, from a community that is grateful, from people whose lives have been blessed, and from a world that's changed by anyone who does the best they can with what you've given them. We thank you for food and for fellowship, for the time we share this evening. In the precious name of Christ, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll pause for dinner, approximately 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes at the most. Please enjoy the meal. Once again, good evening to everyone. If you haven't completed your dinner, please continue to enjoy it. Again, we welcome you to this special occasion, an occasion where we will recognize those who have contributed to sports. However, before we honor and recognize the class of 2009, we want to recognize a number of special guests with us this evening. First of all, I'd like to express our appreciation to Ledger Enquirer sports editor Kevin Price and staff writers Jim Houston, Chris White, Stephanie Peterson, Jerry Rutledge, and Chuck Williams for this week's profiles on our inductees. We'd also like to recognize WRBL TV3, Sean Skillman in the sports area. We'd also like to recognize WTVM's Dave Platter, and a very, very special thanks to my fellow board member Phil Scoggins for the production of the videos that you will enjoy this evening on our inductees. If you will kindly join me in giving these folks a round of applause for their contributions to the Hall of Fame. We are grateful for the presence of various dignitaries with us this evening. At table number 7, hosted by our golf tournament chairman and fellow board member, Lieutenant General retired Ben Register and Mrs. Register, are the following: Councilman and Mrs. Mike Baker, Mayor and Ms. Sonny Coulter, Mayor LaFay Dellinger and her husband Rick, Colonel Charles Durr, Chief of Staff at Fort Benning, Mrs. Mim Halleck, and former Secretary of the Army, former Congressman from the area, and a name synonymous with Callaway Gardens, Mr. Bo Callaway. At table number 8, hosted by fellow Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame board member Phil Scoggins and his wife Judy, are City Manager Isaiah Hughley and his wife Carolyn. Carolyn, of course, is our representative from this area, and City Clerk and Mrs. Jerry Bentley of Smiths, Alabama. Please once again join me in welcoming these dignitaries. Some 14 years ago, a group of local sports enthusiasts gathered to consider how they might recognize those who had contributed to sports from the Chattahoochee Valley. After a series of meetings, the organization we know as the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame came into existence. That organization consists of 20 members, of which 7 serve as a board of directors. The organization meets from July through September with respect to the election of the inductees. During the months of October and November, we meet concerning the planning and execution of the annual Charlie Morrow Memorial Golf Tournament. And then during the months of December, January, and into February, we spend our time preparing for this annual induction banquet. I know that there are a number of the committee members of the Hall of Fame with us this evening, and I would ask that you please stand and be recognized. So, Hall of Fame committee members, board members, please stand. Okay. Thanks to all of you for jobs well done. We could not do this, all that we do, without the support of the committee members as well as the board members. We're always pleased to have a number of our past year inductees with us, and tonight is no exception. As I call your name, would you please stand, and audience, if you'll hold your applause until all names have been called and the individuals are standing, I would appreciate that. Let's begin with the class of 1997 Hall of Famer Cecil Darby. If you would, just hold your applause. Cecil, if you'll remain standing, please, sir. From the class of 1997, representing his father, Hall of Fame BF Register, his son, Lieutenant General, retired Ben Register. From the class of 1998, Hall of Famer James Bubba Ball. From the class of 1999, Hall of Famer Billy Key. From the class of 2000, Hall of Famer Jack Key, Jr. From the class of 2002, Hall of Famer George McCluskey, Jr. From the class of 2002, Hall of Famer Hugh Royer, Jr. From the class of 2002, representing her husband R.G. Jones, Margaret Jones. From the class of 2003, Hall of Famer Mary Lynn Comiskey. From the class of 2003, Hall of Famer Bill Plager. From the class of 2003, Hall of Famer Wayne Trawick. From the class of 2004, Hall of Famer Wallace Davis. From the class of 2004, Hall of Famer D.J. Jones. From the class of 2005, Hall of Famer Debbie Ball. From the class of 2006, Hall of Famer Ed Adams. From the class of 2006, Hall of Famer T.C. Britton. From the class of 2007, Hall of Famer Aaron Cohn. And I think I saw Doug Key come in. From the class of 2007, Hall of Famer Doug Key. From the class of 2008, E.L. Moose Godwin. And from the class of 2008, Hall of Famer James Patrick. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have not missed anyone. If I have, would you kindly stand and be recognized as a past year inductee? I think I've identified everybody. Please join me in giving all of these past year Hall of Famers a round of applause. Thanks to all of you for being with us this evening. Now it's time to honor the class of 2009. Our first inductee was the founder and director of the Hardaway Interscholastic Invitational Golf Tournament, one of the oldest and largest high school tournaments in the Southeast, including teams from Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and South Carolina. Founder of the State Golf Coaches Association, serving as president from 1995 to 2006, coached Hardaway golf teams to 8 state championships, 22 region championships, and 42 major high school tournament wins throughout the Southeast. He was selected Ledger Enquirer Bi-City Coach of the Year for 20-plus years. He was selected by the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association for induction into the 2009 Coaches Hall of Fame. He received the 2004 Dwight Keith Award from the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association in recognition of overall coaching record, service to the association, and dedicated loyalty to the highest and best in competitive athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please direct your attention to the screen?
Larry Gaither is a native of Columbus. He graduated from Columbus High School in 1964 and went on to get his college degree from the University of Georgia. Larry is a name synonymous with high school golf in the Southeast. For 35 years, from 1973 to 2007, he served as golf coach at Hardaway High School. During those years, he produced 8 state championship teams spanning 3 decades. His teams dominated in the late 70s. The Hawks ran off a string of 4 state championships from 1977 to 1980. Larry's teams captured 23 region championships, including 7 in a row from 1975 to 81. As well known as he is for his championship golf teams, Larry is also highly esteemed for founding the Hardaway Invitational Golf Tournament. This annual event was more highly regarded than the state championship because it welcomed players from all classifications from around the Southeast. Among the high-profile names who played in the Hardaway Invitational, PGA pros Davis Love III and Bob Tway. It is estimated that Larry coached well over 400 boys and girls during his career. Many went on to excel at the collegiate level and win major amateur titles. Coach Gaither was honored with a retirement dinner in 2007, which was attended by some 350 former players and friends. One of his fellow coaches referred to Larry as, quote, the Wright Bazemore of high school golf, referring to the legendary former Valdosta High School football coach. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Larry Gaither.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2009 inductee, Larry Gaither.
Good evening. I would like to thank the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame committee for this honor. I want to congratulate the other inductees. It's an honor to be inducted in this elite and prestigious group of athletes and coaches across the Chattahoochee Valley. They say that great players make great or good coaches, and I was fortunate enough to have a lot of great players. But in addition to the players, there were many others that supported the Hardaway Golf Program that helped us succeed. Dewey Renfro and Athletic Director Sammy Howard gave me my first job. Roger Hatcher, who was later principal, encouraged our improvement and sent us to a lot of different tournaments that we had not been able to go to. Keith Seifert, who followed Mr. Hatcher as principal, was able to let me come back to Hardaway after I officially retired and coach and teach 6 more years. And Matt Bell, the last principal I worked for, had the same enthusiasm for the players and the golf program as the other principal. I was fortunate enough to learn from 2 great golf professionals, Charlie Harper from the Columbus Country Club, and I talked to him, and he emphasized that I talk to the players about their work habits, improve their work habits, and respect for the game. When I went out to Bull Creek, Hugh Royer, I sat down and talked with him, and he taught me about running a day-to-day program and how to take advantage of the practice time. Then the last few years, we were out at Fort Benning Country Club, and George Cliff, the pro there, was a great supporter of the Hardaway Invitational Golf Tournament, and has always been a good supporter of junior golf. Another group that was important to me, and I want to recognize them tonight. My wife's Susan of 42 years, who took away time from being a full-time teacher and mother to help me with the details of the Hardaway Invitational. The golf team always said it was nice for Sue to go on the out-of-town tournaments because Coach was nicer. Also here tonight is my daughter Elaine and her husband John Lofbaum, and her two daughters Marty and Lucy. Hope someday Marty is going to be playing for Coach Debbie Ball, and Lucy is the dancer in the family, and Nancy, she's at home playing with Barbie. My youngest daughter, Bright, and her husband, Brian Christopher, are here. Their son, Bo, and Lily are also at home because they're only 2 and 9 months. My Aunt Martha Jones is here. She's always been a part of the Hardaway Golf Program, and she helps support the Hardaway Invitational. My brother-in-law, Glenn Albright, and his wife, and Glenn and Tamara Albright, they all played a big part in the Hardaway Invitational, and most important, they sent me their grandchildren. I had Jerry and Trammell and Patrick Coleman and Kyle Albright. Another group I'd like to thank were my parents. They were tremendous. They helped us raise money and provided transportation and traveled to all the tournaments that we went to. And they worked in the Hardaway Booster Club, and they worked at the Hardaway Golf Tournament. And some even volunteered for 10 and 12 years after their son had graduated from Hardaway. But the main reason I'm here tonight is because of the success of the golfers that I coached and the success they had on the field. For 4 years, they made Hardaway the winningest golf program in the state of Georgia, if not the Southeast. No other high school golf program has won more championships, titles, state tournaments, and invitational. Players from the 70s and 80s established the winning ways for the players coming in the 90s and 2000. They believed in hard work and sacrifice and being a team. Each golfer had an important role on the team and a responsibility to his teammates. They were loyal and believed in each other. Each team that represented Hardaway and the city of Columbus and their parents, they did so to the best of their ability. Because of this, they built a reputation in the state around the Southeast, not only as a winning program, but as people of character and integrity. They set the standards for the rest of the golf teams in the state. And because of this, they won the 8 state championships and 22 region championships. One set of players won a state championship every year that they were in high school the 4 years. 1975 golf team was the first state title for Hardaway High School of any kind. They won almost 40 invitational tournaments, from the Hardaway to the Southern Cross in South Carolina, the Marietta Invitational, the White County, the Packer Invitational, the Blue Devil Invitational, and Muskogee Invitational, and the Demon Invitational, and all these were out of town in the Fields Ferry Invitational. So you see, we did a lot of traveling. You can only do that when you have great support. All the honors that have come to me have come to me because what my players accomplished. They were special. They motivated me to keep coming back year after year. And today, these players are community and business leaders, husbands and fathers, and valuable members of our community. And some of them are still winning golf tournaments. In 2007, my golfers held a retirement dinner for me, spearheaded by Andy Robinson. And we had a great evening and shared the great times of being on the Hardaway golf team. Many of the golfers are here tonight, and I want you to know how much I appreciate the sacrifices you made for the team and all you've done for me. It was a tremendous honor and a pleasure to be your coach. Thank you.
Thank you for all you've done, Larry, and congratulations to you and congratulations to the family as well. Our next inductee was a wide receiver on the Columbus High School football team, first team All-State, All-Region, winning both Region and South Georgia championships. He was a forward, team captain, and All-By-City on the Columbus High School basketball team. He was a 2-year starter at wide receiver while at Ole Miss, lettering 3 years while playing with All-American quarterback Archie Manning and played in 3 bowl games. He founded Realtree, #1 in hunting camouflage. He hosts the Realtree Outdoors TV show, the #1 Nielsen-rated show on ESPN, as well as all other outdoor networks. He is co-host of top-rated Realtree's Driven to Hunt on ESPN, featuring NASCAR drivers, owners, and team members. He's been a 5-year primary sponsor of Team Realtree Chevrolet, driven by Dave Marcis, a 4-year primary associate sponsor of NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt's #3 RCR Chevrolet, and longtime sponsor of 2007 Daytona 500 champion Kevin Harvick's #29 RCR Chevrolet. He's a proud husband and father of 3, Tyler, Grayson, and Colton. Would you please direct your attention to the screen?
Bill Jordan is a Columbus native whose passion for sports and the outdoors has propelled him into the national spotlight. During his high school years at Columbus High, Bill excelled as a multi-talented athlete, lettering in football, basketball, and track. He scored the only touchdown for Columbus in the 1967 state championship game against Marietta. He decided to sign a football grant in aid with the University of Mississippi in 1969. He admits the amount of hunting land close to campus played a big role in that decision. One of his contemporaries at Ole Miss was legendary quarterback Archie Manning, who Bill still stays in touch with to this day. Injuries limited Jordan's playing time for the Rebels. He graduated from Ole Miss with a degree in business administration. It's a degree that has served him well in his professional career. Bill's career path has mirrored his intense love for the great outdoors. In 1983, he founded his first company, Spartan Archery Products. That led to the development of new camouflage patterns that would blend in with all types of terrain and ultimately, in 1986, give birth to the Realtree family of brands, which today are all under one roof as Jordan's Outdoors Enterprises. Another of Bill's businesses is Realtree Outdoor Productions, the video production company responsible for Realtree Outdoors television show, which airs across the nation. Jordan hosts the show, which often features many recognizable guests from the world of professional sports. Another of Bill's hobbies turned business is auto racing. In 1996, Team Realtree began its racing sponsorship of NASCAR drivers, and that sponsorship continues today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Bill Jordan.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2009 inductee, Bill Jordan. Congratulations. Take a look at the camera.
As you can tell, I got a haircut for tonight, and that was my sister Val. So I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans. That was my sister Val, and a proud moment with my big bass. So we got all the family in here. It certainly is an honor to be here tonight, and I certainly do appreciate everything that this board has done. Jim White, when I got the call back this past year, back in November, it was quite a treat and quite an honor for me, and I can speak for these other guys that are up here tonight. It really is a special treat, and congratulations to them as well. Larry, heartfelt moment right there. And you know, anybody in that room out here, in this room tonight, could probably take my place up here and tell the same story that I'm going to tell you tonight. And how important it is to me to go back into memory lane, to think about all the great things, and looking around this room tonight, so many great people in here. Cecil Darby, Phil Scoggins, who I have a relationship back from my high school days. Looking around at the coaches in here tonight with Wallace Davis. Wallace, I didn't see you earlier. Hello, buddy. Bubba Ball. And, you know, it brings back such memories for me as a young athlete. And we could all tell the same story. My story is going to be no different than probably anybody in this room. And I don't know if there's many people in this room that actually have scored more touchdowns than I have, hit more winning shots on the basketball court, Bubba, or hit the game-winning home run. And that was all done in my backyard. So we all started somewhere, and that's where I was started. And timing is everything in life, and I was very fortunate to live in a neighborhood, and we had a basketball court, obviously, and a small baseball field and football field. And really and truly, we woke up every day during the summertime and couldn't wait to do something out there, whether it be basketball, anything, football, baseball. And, you know, obviously when you go into, you know, the professional side of the coaching and helping you out, I really believe that we all honed our skills, you know, in those early days on the court, you know, at our home or on the field, you know, playing football or basketball. You know, it took me back when Chuck Williams called me about doing this interview. You know, I kind of sat back and he said, what's the best thing about, you know, this event? What are your true feelings about this? And, you know, it really is going back in my past life and remembering people and things and how important family and friends are for all of us. And starting off in my backyard doing all this, and you know, it's no different than anybody else's. And you know, a lot of times having played football, and I've been so blessed to have such great coaches all my life, and having a group of guys, you know, coming from St. Elmo Elementary to Richards and hooking up with people like Sammy Oates and Eddie Welch and other people that were part of my life growing up, leaving, you know, the junior high level, going into high school, and coming together. I was so fortunate to come with a lot of different kids from a lot of different schools and areas and come to Columbus High. And going through that process, it's so worthy of having those kids with you through everything, through life's experiences, and going to state championship ball games. Your coaches, my coaches played such a huge part in my life, especially during the high school time. You know, who can forget Pig Davis? Pig did so much for us, and my wide receiver coach, Grady Elmore, teaching me how to run pass routes. You know, moving on from there in basketball, Joe Sparks taught me everything that I could ever possibly dream of in basketball, making me a better player. And then going into the college ranks and having an opportunity to play at Ole Miss. And I can truly say that I had three great quarterbacks in my life. Sammy Oates, you know, meant everything to me during high school. And Sammy, thank you for all the kind words in the article, and you did lie for me, and I'll pay you later for those nice words. He has put me up for ransom on that. But, you know, I can remember back in high school with Sammy, we'd work construction job with James Welch Construction, our good buddy Eddie Welch, and 16 and 17 years old, and we all had this idea that we wanted to work construction work, you know, for Welch Construction Company. And so Mr. Welch put me right in the middle of being a brick mason's helper. So for 8 hours a day, I would have a wheelbarrow, And I'd be lining up bricks and blocks, and I found out I did not have a career in that. So after 2 years, but Sammy and I would get off work along with the other ball players at that time. We'd go to Columbus High. We'd literally in 100-degree heat would work out a couple hours every day. Didn't have to be there, throwing passes and working out, trying to get ready for the upcoming season. But I was very blessed to have other kids around me that pushed me, all the way through. When I signed a football scholarship with Ole Miss, that is really true up there. I'll never forget, I was recruited by a lot of different colleges, and I went to Ole Miss and had no real clue that I was going to go there. When I first went out there, I fell in love with the campus. Obviously, Ole Miss has a history of good-looking women. That did not have anything to do with it, Shannon, but they had a lot of nice-looking women there, and the hunting was absolutely phenomenal. And, I came off that trip, like my dad would always ask me, well, how'd that trip go to Ole Miss? And I said, Dad, you can't believe how good the hunting and fishing is out there. He said, well, what about the football program? Well, it's okay too, but the hunting and fishing. So I ended up going to Ole Miss, and probably one of the biggest disappointments in my life, and part of the things that I've done is not fulfilling my dream. Everything that I practiced for in my backyard through junior high and through high school, I was fortunate enough to start a couple of years out there, but playing very little because of a torn hamstring muscle. That was the first time I'd ever been faced with something that, with clocks running out, I knew I wouldn't have an opportunity to play organized football, and it was very disappointing to me. And my parents stood by me, all the way through, and, I would maybe play a couple of games and pull a hamstring, same leg, and sit out 5 or 6 weeks. And something you work for all your life, the clock is ticking, you're not going to have an opportunity to do it. But, being a competitor and being an athlete, and my family, my mom and my dad was so strong, the influences of my life got me through that period of time. My family, my sisters Val, Catherine, my brother Butch right here with us tonight, gave me just all the support that I could ever possibly have, with a little brother. And obviously my parents, everything in the world, like Larry's to them, molding me to be a better person. I tried so hard to please both of them. But for you moms out there, and me being a parent, having a 16-year-old son, I know what it means to take your kids to Little League baseball practice and pick them up when Dad's working and pick them up. You ladies need a round of applause because you're the workhorse behind the scene that makes all that happen for your kids. But my mom was very special to me. And the same thing with my dad. We had a small farm, and my mom, when my dad was working on weekends, he'd take Sammy and I and other friends dove hunting. My mom would sit there and wait on us for hours in the hot sun in September, waiting for us to get through, and they'd drive us back home. You moms are absolutely incredible. But it's been a great ride for me. I tell you, it's been absolutely unbelievable all the way through. I've been so blessed. Timing is everything. To come through in a time of life with all these great kids that I came up with and living in this community. I can't say enough, born, raised here, and came back to my work life here. It's been very rewarding, and so I certainly appreciate that. And I want to close by telling you a little story. At Realtree, we have a saying, family, friends, and the outdoors. That is actually our tagline, and it means so much to us, out there, and it is a part of my life. But I want to tell you a story. When you have kids, they're very special and dear to you. And my 16-year-old Tyler, who's right here, it's 8 years ago. How many of you in this room, when your kids does something, you want to recognize there's only a first in life in everything that you do? And so I took Tyler on a turkey hunting trip, first ever with him being, having the shotgun. He'd always been able to go with me and sit beside me. And so one morning, he and I woke up. His mama called Brookstone School. For you Brookstone people here, we got it cleared. We missed a day of school. Don't tell anybody there, but we called, Mom called the night before, Tyler gets out of school, and we go turkey hunting. His first time actually holding the gun. And here I got this cute little 8-year-old sitting between my legs and me whispering in his ear what to do and, how to do it. And actually, we got a turkey to come in, and Tyler made just an absolutely excellent shot on this turkey. We're filming it for our TV show. And I couldn't have been prouder of my son at that moment. And, my dad's responsible for me and getting my family involved in the outdoors and hunting and fishing. And I got kind of emotional about what was happening and what I was seeing, and see the enjoyment that he had waking up on that beautiful morning, going hunting, and being with his dad. And so we filmed it for TV. I didn't even know the camera was running, and we're riding back, and all the way back, he's my cute little 8-year-old is sitting beside me, and I'm looking at him and, kind of about to tear up, and I'm thinking about my dad, getting me involved in the outdoors, doing what I'm doing today, and, and I look at my cute, darling 8-year-old, and I said, Tyler, when your dad gets older, are you going to take your dad hunting like I did you today? He looks back at me. He says, no, Dad, I'm going to put you in daycare. So I know where I'm heading. Tyler, I just want to tell you now, I'm not quite ready for daycare. But what a special evening. Thank you guys for so much for being here tonight. Thank you, Jim, for all the hard work that you and your guys do. And I certainly appreciate this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill, and congratulations to both you and the family. We are most appreciative for all that you do for the community. Our next inductee was selected All-Southern and All-State halfback in 1943. He was selected All-Southern, All-State, and All-Bi-City fullback in 1944. Selected to the All-Millennium football team in 1999. He married Mary Frances Benefield in 1948. He is the father of Robert C. Propst, Polly Propst Bell, William B. Propst, Joseph K. Propst, and Jeffrey L. Propst. He is a Masonic Master Mason and Shriner for 50-plus years. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Leroy Propst is a football legend at Central High School in Phoenix City. He stormed onto the gridiron scene in the 1944 and 45 seasons, playing fullback for Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame coach Tommy Garrett. During his 2 seasons at Central, the Red Devils posted an 18-1 record. The 1944 team claimed the mythical state championship during an era when there was no state playoff system. One game in particular in the 1944 season gives great insight into the caliber and character of Leroy Propst. Prior to Central's game against Sidney Lanier, the premier team in Alabama at the time, Propst learned of the death of his mother. He was told he could return home and did not have to play. Propst declined the offer, saying his mother would have wanted him to play. In that game, Leroy rushed for 258 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, and led Central to a 21-7 victory. Another stellar game that year was against Columbus High. Propst rushed for 122 yards, completed 8 of 9 passes for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Red Devils whipped the Blue Devils 33-7. Propst gained over 1,000 yards in both the 44 and 45 seasons. He also led the team in scoring both years, but he also played defense and played it well. Propst was a linebacker and the leading tackler for Central in both 1944 and 45. He became the only player in Bi-City history to be twice named to the All-Southern High School football squad, which was the equivalent of being named an All-American. He was also selected All-Bi-City and All-State during his prep career. After high school, he signed a scholarship to play for Auburn, but joined the Merchant Marines instead and never returned to the playing field. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Leroy Propst.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2009 inductee, Leroy Propst. Congratulations, sir. Take a look at the camera down there. Thank you very much. Yeah, one more time. Yeah. I'll sit it over here. All right.
I want to thank all the people that got me down here in front of all these real athletes. And I want to accept this award in behalf of my 43 and 44 football team. They're the ones who really put me through it. They made it easy, and all of them enjoyed playing football. We excuse me. I'm sorry. It's an honor to receive this and for my teammates who made it football but easy, and the ones who helped me was from the season of '44 with Milton Stewart, Pete Harris, and Jennings Benton. They made it easy. But then there's folks across the river that we played from Jordan. There was Bill Malloy, Bill Davis, and Joe Harrell. From Columbus High, who I'll never forget, was John Connett, Shipworth and Matthews, and Claude Jackson. And I want to accept this award for those 43 and 44 teams, and I want to say thanks to everybody, and it's a great honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Propst, and congratulations to you and congratulations to the Propst family as well. Our next inductee rushed for 4,414 yards and scored 83 touchdowns at Brookstone School. He was a four-year letterman and offensive team captain at the University of Georgia. He was NFL Pro Bowl selection as a Seattle Seahawk in 2005 and 2006. He was selected by the Associated Press to the NFL All-Pro team in 2005. He's a devoted husband, father, and leader in community charitable organizations. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Mack Strong was born in 1971 at Fort Benning. He broke onto the local sports scene as a versatile athlete for the Brookstone Cougars, lettering in football, basketball, and track. But it was football where Mack separated himself from the pack. He rushed for 4,414 yards during his high school career, scoring 83 touchdowns. That impressive prep performance put him on the radar of Division I football scouts. The University of Georgia wound up signing him to a grant and aid in 1989. During his college career with the Bulldogs, Mack carved out a niche for himself as one of the best blocking backs in the SEC. Mack also scored 9 touchdowns, and his senior year he was named offensive team captain. Mack signed as a free agent with the Seattle Seahawks in 1993, a team he wound up his entire NFL career with for 15 years. As a pro, he rushed for just over 900 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry, and scoring 15 touchdowns. He was a prolific blocker, paving the way for all-star running backs such as Shaun Alexander and Ricky Watters. Mack saw extensive playing time on special teams for Seattle. He had a career-high 19 special teams tackles in 1995. The pinnacle of Mack's pro career came in 2005 when Seattle captured the NFC Championship and advanced to the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mack was selected to play in the NFL Pro Bowl in back-to-back years of 2005 and 2006. Mack's pro career was ended by a neck injury in 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Mack Strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, accepting for Mack Strong is Coach Chico Lynch of Brookstone.
I'm extremely impressed by the gentleman up here at this table. That's something else. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the board of the Hall of Fame and Jim White for the opportunity to be able to represent Mack Strong here tonight. Some of you may ask, who am I and why am I representing Mack Strong? I was fortunate enough to be the head football coach at Brookstone while Mack Strong played football. I, along with Wendell McKenzie, Dale Epperson, John Stafford, and Steve Sparks, had an important part in his action because he made us all look good. I also had an opportunity to coach him in track and field. In track and field, he was region champions in the 400 meters, the long jump, the triple jump, and on the 1600 relays. And at Brookstone, he still holds the school record in the 400 meters, in the long jump, and in the triple jump. I wish that Mack were here tonight so that you would have an opportunity to know the man, Mack Strong. Mack is the kind of role model that our athletes need today. Mack is a person that has his priorities in the right place: God, family, country, academics, friends, and athletes. And an example of his commitment to helping other people, Mack and his wife, Zoe High Eagle, have been involved in many community and service projects while in Seattle. Mack was chosen by the Seattle organization, Seattle Seahawk organization, to serve as a spokesman for the building of the new football stadium. He and his wife Zoe have been involved in the Seattle Church of Christ for many years. He and Zoe also helped start a mentoring program in 2002 called Teamworks, which helps Native Americans in the area. Mack and Zoe were able to not only devote their time and love, but also secured help from Hope, a faith-based relief and development organization out of Pennsylvania. They spend their time at the Tualapi and Muckleshoot reservations in the Seattle area. They and certified teachers provide a 3-phase program: sports skills, education in math and reading, and character building. And Mack, again, through his belief in God and his commitment to helping people, again, has made an extremely big impression with the people in Seattle. As a team member and or leader, Mack puts team before self. He works at hard helping others as he does trying to accomplish his own individual goals. Because of his enthusiasm and dedication, other players begin to emulate him, and the team is infected with his spirit. Examples of this: Coach Mike Holmgren, who was the head football coach at Seattle Seahawks, one of the good guys that I have been around. He's the guy who makes the other guys look good, a wonderful man, and much more than a football player. Ray Goff at the University of Georgia. His strength and character and his determination makes him the individual that he is. His running back coach, Stump Mitchell at Seattle. Mack has pride, but not an ego. Nan Pate, the chair of the history department at Brookstone. Mack excelled not only on the playing field, but also in the classroom and in extracurricular activities. Dale Epperson, chair of the science department at Brookstone. Whoever coined the phrase, giving 110%, must have had Mack in mind. I never knew of an occasion, whether it was in the weight room, running sprints, scrimmage and drills during practice, or in a game, where he didn't give his all. Wendell McKenzie, upper school principal. Mack Strong was one of the true athletes that attended Brookstone School during my 34 years at the school. His accomplishments have brought media attention and praise in many forms to him. Mack always displayed a strong sense of humility during the time. And John Stafford, the director of guidance and counseling. As Mack's guidance counselor and football coach, he is a model for the student athlete. He always knew his priorities, which can be seen in his academic record and success in athletics. I often use his story in working with other students. I have had the good fortune to work with him with a number of outstanding student athletes in my 30-plus years, but Mack is at the top of the list. Now think about this one. What are the odds that a young man whose mom did not want him to play football and after his freshman year wanted to quit football would almost break Herschel Walker's high school touchdown record, get a football scholarship to the University of Georgia, block for 2,000-plus yard rushers on the college level, 3 on the professional level, be all-pro selection in 2005, Pro Bowl selection in 2005, 2006, played 15 years in the NFL, and is considered one of the best blocking backs in the NFL. Mack, during the 2007 season, of course, as most of you know, he was injured, a herniated disc in his neck, so it decided it was in his best interest and his family that he retire. A year later, on July the 30th, 2008, Fox Sports Northwest announced that Mack would be joining the network to provide insight and commentary on Seahawk coverage. He was also given his own show titled Mack Strong, Seahawk Insider, and then from Mack himself. Please thank the committee members and all those responsible for making this a reality for my family that my family and I will never forget. Also, please express that I really have a deep conviction that no one has ever achieved anything by themselves. It doesn't matter if you're talking sports, marriage, parenting, or anything else. We all need someone to help us achieve our goals. With this in mind, I would like to sincerely thank the entire Brookstone community for their loyal support of me and my dreams. I would especially like to thank all the teammates and coaches that I have had during my prep career. The relationship and teachings were directly responsible for my success. The same has been true throughout my entire football career. I have many fond memories of my time in the Chattahoochee Valley and look forward to visiting there more often. This award will definitely add to the good things I have about the area. Although Seattle is now where my wife and I have decided to live for the foreseeable future, Columbus will always be home. Thank you.
Congratulations to Mack Strong and Mack's family, and thank you, Chico Lynch, for being so nice to represent Mack in his absence. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure for me to introduce to you Hall of Fame Golf Tournament Chairman, that is, Chairman of the annual Charlie Morrow Memorial Golf Tournament. And the Hall of Fame Golf Tournament, incidentally, is our major fundraiser. And this gentleman is also a fellow board member that I am most proud to rub elbows with. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General retired Ben Register. Please welcome him.
This is a distinct honor and privilege to present our next inductee. He began his athletic career at a very young age. They won the 1951 District Little League Baseball Championship. He played on the 1957 Columbus High School State Championship runner-up football team, finally losing to Northside High School in Atlanta. He has been married to his loving wife, Ann, for 46 years. And I can say that she has really been a part of the Hall of Fame in helping. He was the fundraiser and oversaw the construction of the Hall of Fame memorabilia display area at the Columbus Civic Center. And he's been the chairman of the board of the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame for over 10 years. But Jim White has been much more than that, more than a board chairman. He's been a tireless leader, a business manager, a planner, a hard worker, our representative in the community, a fundraiser, and he's been the engine that made the Hall of Fame grow and the glue that held it together over these 12 years or so since we lost Charlie Morrow. He has raised the child, the Hall of Fame, that was once a noble vision. He's preserved and enriched the sports heritage and legacy of the region by his leadership, his sports participation, and his service. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Jim White is a native of Columbus who showed an early interest in the world of sports. He was a bat boy for the Columbus Foxes in the mid-1950s. He attended Columbus High School and was a center on the Blue Devils football team. His sophomore year, Columbus High finished the state runner-up in football. From Columbus, Jim headed to the University of Alabama for his bachelor's degree. Jim was married to his wife Ann in 1962. Many a date started at the old Varsity Drive-In, where Jim says they could get veal cutlets with gravy and fries for a mere 85 cents. Jim's professional career was spent working with two high-profile companies, Tom's Foods, where he was controller, and Synovus Financial Corporation, where he served as controller for the holding company. In 1995, he was asked by Charlie Morrow, the owner of the Columbus Red Sticks, to become his vice president of finance, a position he held until 2000 when the franchise was sold. During this time, Jim also served as vice president of the Columbus Cottonmouths from the time they started operations in 1996 until they were sold to the present owners. Just 2 weeks before the start of the 2003 minor league baseball season, Jim reluctantly came out of retirement to serve as general manager of the South Georgia Waves, who had just moved to Columbus from Albany. He miraculously pulled a team together by opening day, but Jim found it most difficult running a club with an absentee owner. One of Jim's most outstanding contributions to sports has been through his involvement with the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. It fell to him to develop the bylaws and articles of incorporation for the Hall upon the untimely death of Hall of Fame founder Charlie Morrow in 1998. Jim assumed the responsibilities of chairman and has poured his heart, soul, and personal finances into the Hall's operations. Many believe without Jim White's dedication and commitment to the mission of the Hall of Fame, it would not exist today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame is proud to induct Jim White.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2009 Hall of Famer Jim White.
Thank you, General Rester, for your very kind introduction. I suppose I should start by saying thank you to the board and committee of the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame for choosing me for this honor. It's a really special experience to stand before you, all of you here tonight. It's rather humbling because there are so many special people who have so much talent, so much drive, and so much commitment that I feel rather unworthy for this award. And as the saying goes, I couldn't have done it without many of you. This award recognizes far, far more than just my efforts, and I would be completely remiss if I didn't thank my wife, Ann, who helped me wade through the various opportunities that confronted the Hall of Fame through the years. And most important, too, I'd like to say thank you to the other members of my family who are with me tonight and who have always stood behind me. I've always believed that it's important to do what you do to the best of your abilities, and that if people work together, they can achieve any goals that they set out for themselves. That's exactly what happened here. Although my name is on this plaque, I would never have made it up here tonight were it not for the hard work of the board and committee of the Hall of Fame. In the 12 or so years that I've been chairman of the Hall of Fame, I've learned a lot of important things. I've learned how crucial fundraising is for an organization like ours. Without the support of the communities at large, we wouldn't be able to honor and recognize those who have contributed to sports from the Chattahoochee Valley. It's not generally easy to get people to part with their money, no matter how strong the economy is. So it's our job then to motivate them and show them how contributing to the Hall of Fame will help build the community for the long term. I consider myself a rather lucky person. I get to wake up in the morning and forge ahead with an organization that I love. I get to be part of an organization that allows me to do volunteer work with other people who care about the same things that I do. I get to work on projects that bring so much to life. Of course, the path to those solutions can sometimes be rocky. I'm sure there were times when my fellow committee members and board members wanted to throw me out the window or lock me out of the building or such things as that, but that was a valuable learning experience for me as I learned the most important thing, and that is you have to share the rewards. You just simply have to share the rewards. And so I accept this award on behalf of everyone who contributed to it in any way. I hope it will continue to serve as an inspiration to remind me of what's possible when I give things my all and remember what can be accomplished when you and I put our minds to it. Well, I'm sure I've gone beyond my 60 seconds that I allowed myself up here. So I'll wrap up by saying that I'm so proud, so very proud of all of us. Let's keep dreaming up new goals so we can go out there and make them happen. I'm grateful and happy that we all have shared in the evening, and I thank you very much for this honor and recognition. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Now let me shift gears for you. You know, in closing, there are a couple of thoughts I want to leave with you. First of all, we believe that there is at least one graphic measure by which we distinguish the outstanding men and women of the Chattahoochee Valley, and that is the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. While it's physically located in the Columbus Civic Center, perhaps more importantly, it's located within our hearts. Within it are 66 individuals. Tonight, we added 5 more. We received them in large part because they were visionaries of perfection. They acted nobly, they acted with purpose of mind and purpose of body. Whether taken individually or collectively, they've had an amazing impact on our quality of life in the Chattahoochee Valley. Before we adjourn, would you please stand and give one final round of applause for the class of 2009. Good night, everyone.